critiques, what if, on that idea?
Could you say it one more time?
Now legal. $20 retirement safe haven. Let me make sure I read this right. Once reserved for the wealthy elite and seized by the government, now it can safely grow your retirement by X%.
What's the safe haven?
The retirement safe haven is the
double
double,
legal.
which
Double legal. The reason we said the $20 is because double legal was just a cool way of saying $20.
also, we didn't, like he said, you have to reveal at some point that you're investing in a coin or something very boring. So instead what we did is we gave it a cool name, and we actually don't have to reveal that. So we can go the whole promo. If you invest in this retirement safe haven asset, you can grow your retirement by X%. We can repeat that all the way to the end, to the offer, and we can say, sign up for our newsletter, and we'll reveal it.
Cool. Good job, guys.
Yeah, I guess they're going on. We'll go. You guys are pretty excited to go. So.
All right, so the ordinance, we did number 2. Would you like to read it? This is truly a 50-50 collaborative.
Yeah, so this is the back end $2,000 tech stuff, and it's based off of a biotech recommendation. So, of course, so we do a VSL. We have a warning first: don't watch them home. All right. Have the age-defying secrets of the Old Testament finally been cracked? Watch shocking footage of tech genius injecting the serum of the immortal prophets. Prophets is spelled like F-I-T-S, not P-H-E-T-S. And find out how you could pocket a miraculous 17,953% return from the greatest breakthrough in the history of longevity science.
Nice. I did it.
Pretty good.
Aaron is someone who intimately knows that idea through and through. Do you have any what ifs, critiques?
2. I like it. But what if you ditched the play on words?
Okay.
Typically,
You don't like
I fucking hate that stuff.
Sorry, that's all right.
That was a good idea.
Hey Matt, what if you found a copy?
He also came up with the idea of longevity science. That's awesome.
And the second one would be see if you could get the idea to work with a hook that cool without the biblical implications.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it's talking about all the religious stuff.
I agree with you. We try to. This thing had a lot of stuff about the Middle East, so we try to bake that into it. But yeah, that's probably we could have done that without that for sure.
But it has hook, it has promise.
Yeah, yeah,
like I want to. Yeah. So if you gave that to me, those would be my 2 what ifs.
Yeah, right.
About.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
To very briefly set the stage, as it were, keep getting the lights. So, Grandpa Kurt has the same story over and over again. His friend retired 3 years ago. 6 months later, diagnosed with cancer. Dead. Another friend retired 2 years ago. 3 or 4 years later, diagnosed with cancer. Dead. Every time they retire, they seem to lose their purpose. They die. My grandfather, all of his friends, just start dying off and over again. So it's a big, scary thing, and it's hanging over their heads constantly. So what to go with?
Yeah, so in case you need more context, we did number 2, and the idea is that the stem cell research and everything they're doing is basically a $2.6 secret that the FDA is keeping from, sorry, $1 billion secret. And it's, what did I say?
$2.6.
Yeah, that wouldn't be as exciting. But it's a cancer vaccine, and the video, the proof that we have is that they're about to be injected with this cancer vaccine that saves you from cancer.
Okay.
probably completely missed it. What is the idea?
Well, the idea is the opportunity to profit from the new technology, the new cancer vaccine.
Oh.
And I suppose that, like, the attention-grabbing portion of that would be the fact that you see the cancer vaccine and then the visual is, like, somebody about to be injected with, presumably, this cancer vaccine.
What if you talked about how small the current company that has the patent of this cancer vaccine is, and you juxtapose that with the size of the market? So, let me rephrase that, right? What if your idea is something like, there's a tiny $207 million company sitting in California that's developed a $2.6 billion cancer vaccine that the government doesn't want you to know about. So that's my what if. What if you frame the size of the company next to the size of the opportunity, therefore the profit promise is there for the reader. I could buy a $200 million company that's about to control a $2 billion market.
What if you gave the vaccine a name? That'd be my what if.
Like,
Better than cancer vaccine?
Well, I mean, something a little more specific. I mean, I'm sure like there are lots of cancer vaccines being worked on, but whoever invents the one is going to be called something, right? It's going to be like some sort of medicine. It doesn't give things a name, or the media is going to create a name for it, so it's an opportunity for you to create the name. So
Would
they
you
know
do that in the headline, or would you do it in, like, the lead and?
Don't worry about the headline,
The
just worry
expression
about
of
the
it,
idea.
it depends.
Just
okay.
think about the idea right now.
I
Like
mean,
delete
okay.
headline, delete lead, right? You're just verbally pitching an idea. So therefore, the difference becomes, just to put a point of what Ryan's saying, you know, what if it were something like, did you know there's a tiny $200 million company sitting in Oakland, California, that's now developed a $2.6 billion rise of the Phoenix cancer vaccine, something like that, right? Or the rise of the Phoenix
Or
vaccine.
S cure, maybe for like stem cell, or SC cure. Or
Okay.
something.
I got a question. So, there's kind of a reputation with the government snuffing out amazing technology. What if you could talk about how they're about to make it more acceptable?
Or like a history behind that, like they snuffed out blank here, and they snuffed out blank here, get in before they snuff out this.
Well, even then, if they snuff it out, then my investment is kaput. So what I'm saying is, what if you make it sound like the government is like, you know what,
Going to
they
accept it.
formerly didn't accept it, but they're about to pass it, maybe something about military, DARPA, or something like that. You know, that's typically where the government lets things come into play. It's because, oh, now they're using it for military.
Scott had that idea, actually, like the rethrowing soldiers' limbs, like, in that climate,
Right.
that would be.
Like we've been at war for 13 years. By 2018, we'll be at war for so many years, predictably, who knows?
Right, and I was in the military as Grandpa Kurt,
Right.
and so it's like, well, I know that if the military's doing it, then it won't be much longer before it comes into the civilian world, and that's when these companies take off, in my understanding of it as Grandpa Kurt.
Can I tell you guys two things there? I'm going to give you a what if in a second, but I just want to, as a teaching moment, I want to tell you guys something first. What Jimmy is suggesting here is where, as copywriters, right, it gets a little dangerous, because what Jimmy is suggesting is almost an alternative idea to what you guys have. Sometimes what happens is, as new copywriters, you'll ask 18 different people, and you'll get 18 different what ifs, and then you try to take all those 18 what ifs and mash it into one idea, and then it violates the rule of one. What Jimmy is suggesting may be a great idea. I don't think it is the idea you just pitched. I wouldn't combine the two of those. That's an alternative idea. So just know that when you pitch a lot of things to a lot of people, you have the power as a copywriter to say, it's not that I'm ignoring that idea, it's just a wholly different idea. I can't try to fit all those ideas in one. You don't want to try to be the person who pleases 18 different masters, you know, in that way, because your idea is going to get all mucked up. That said, I got another what if for you, just building on your original idea. So what if you ditched the idea that the government's trying to keep it from you, and in place, what if you added urgency of the date that that cancer vaccine will be approved by the FDA? So, your headline now, your idea, would work something like there's a tiny $200 million company sitting in Oakland, California, that is about to release a $2.6 billion SC cancer vaccine that will be approved by the United States government on April 18th.
I got another word up on that. This is kind of like coming out like piecing work, right? What if you name that date something special, like VC Day, like Victory Over Cancer Day or something, right? That builds up like how on this particular day cancer is going to be solved. Again, like to kind of build off your kind of intro of like a lot of people's fear of cancer and they don't want to get it. So like on this date, you know, this tiny little company is going to create this market, and that's going to be the day we're going to look back and say, this is the day that cancer was here.
Is it worth giving like historical examples of that? Like penicillin was created on this day, polio vaccine was created on this
Sometimes,
this day.
like again, this is like the execution of it, and that's just like, it might be good proof, might not be good proof. I don't know how powerful that proof is compared to other proof that's maybe a little more urgent, but you know, I mean, I think people already believe that cures have happened in the past, and they've already believed that people have made money on it. I don't know how much you really have to prove that with like penicillin and some of those other. So I think everybody knows about drug companies and how large they are and how lucrative that market is. So it all depends. I mean, that's just proof, though. I mean, I don't know how much that would make or break an idea.
Before you guys sit down, tell us your original, go backwards. I just want to show the transformation of the idea from start